One of the concepts behind the Switch that I've really enjoyed is the Joy-Cons. These tiny little controllers that can be used by themselves or in a comboed pair, but more importantly, can be attached to a very large variety of different accessories to give them a ton of different specific special uses. So we're gonna go over some accessories today that give you some interesting uses for some Joy-Cons, or just get the most out of them. First, we're going to be more on the interesting side with this, a keyboard grip for your Joy-Cons. Now, we've talked before about how a lot of keyboards are starting to show up for the Switch. There's not a ton of applications just yet, but a lot of the ones on the market are actual USB keyboards that plug into the dock, which it gets the job done, but it kind of feels like it goes against the grain of what's kind of fun about the Switch, and this is a really interesting, elegant solution to that. Now what this is a grip the Joy-Cons can slide into. It does add a little bit of a comfort grip to the back right here, but of course the main focus is the full keyboard in the middle. Now this does have its own internal battery that you just charge up, so it's actually able to be used wirelessly, and also actually charges the Joy-Cons at the same time, and the way it connects to your Switch is with a separate wireless dongle. Now this can be used mainly in dock mode, but with little creativity and adapter, you could use this in a tabletop setup as well. Now admittedly, a keyboard is something that does currently have a little bit of a limited use for the Switch, at least in the US. It has a lot more uses in Japan right now, but as more and more games are going to come out that actually start supporting stuff like this is an awesome little add-on to pick up. Speaking of things that'll charge your Joy-Cons, if you're like me, Joy-Cons are something that are kind of easy to start amassing and collecting a lot of because of all the different colors that are out there, and that becomes a problem when you want to make sure they're all actually, well, charged and ready to go when you want to grab them. So getting chargeable docks for Joy-Cons is a great idea. Now there are a ton of different options out there, but one of my personal favorites comes from Amazon actually, with their Amazon Basics Joy-Con charge stand. It does 4 Joy-Cons at the same time, and it's actually one of the more interesting looking docks I've seen. A lot of the other ones are usually very basic. They just put like the Joy-Cons on the sides, kind of simulating the grip. In this case though, it actually does a little 4-way pattern that's pretty cool. This is going to make it a lot easier to make sure that all your Joy-Cons are topped off and at full power instead of having to just constantly change them on the dock itself. There's also little indicator lights to let you know when each one's fully charged. But most importantly, while there are a lot of different charging stands out there on the market, since this is an Amazon Basics one, it not only looks good, but it is a little more on the affordable side. Next, let's talk about comfort, because while it is really cool that Joy-Cons have all these different accessories they can attach to, they're not always the most comfortable to use by themselves. Now there are a lot of solutions out there for when you're using the Switch in handheld mode. There's a ton of Switch grips on the market, but it's not really useful if you want to do, say, using just the Joy-Cons with a TV mode or tabletop mode. And that's where these come in. Little gel guards to put on the Joy-Cons. These are really easy to apply to your Joy-Cons. You just slide them on or take them off, no big deal at all. They don't always look super pretty, but functionally they get the job done great. They add a little protection in case you drop the Joy-Cons, but more importantly, adds this little grip design to the back so they're a lot more comfortable to use. What's really useful too is that if you do want to use these with handheld mode or any other kind of Switch Joy-Con accessory, these don't cover the rails at all, so you can still attach them to different things. By the way, if you're wondering about all these differently colored Joy-Cons that we have in today's video, these are actually skins that are made by today's sponsor, dbrand. They've made a whole line of Switch skins that are completely safe to use. You can get them for the Joy-Con, for your Switch itself, or even for the dock in a large variety of colors, or even in this white, which I think looks really nice. If you want to pick one up for yourself, make sure to check out the link down below. Now that's a great solution if you're using 2 Joy-Cons at the same time, but what if you're just using a single Joy-Con in the sideways position? Because this is not comfortable at all. And I love playing a lot of different party games that make use of this. When you have everyone using a single Joy-Con by themselves, it's just terrible to use. So that's why you need to grab one of these. This is actually one of the first accessories I talked about as a must-have to get for the Switch, and to this day it's still one of the most used ones I've had because it just makes using the single Joy-Con such a better experience. It's really easy. You can just slot either a left or right-handed Joy-Con into it. It doesn't discern either way, and it's going to give you an actual controller feel when you're using the single Joy-Con. It also makes hitting the shoulder buttons a lot easier because instead of just those tiny little inset buttons inside the railing, it actually adds little bumpers so it feels like an actual button. Honestly, if you play a lot of party games and a lot of local multiplayer, this is an absolute must-have. Now another part of the Joy-Con that can be improved is the thumbstick, because look, it gets the job done, it's fine, it's compact, but if you're doing any more serious gaming, sometimes you need a little more precise control over it and something that's going to make sure it sticks to your thumb, and that's where thumb grips come in handy. Now Control Freak is one of the biggest companies that for a long time has made a lot of different thumb grips, and they're the ones that I really like using on the Switch in particular. They're really easy to use, they just snap on over the stick itself, it gives it a little extra height so there's more precision and control going on, and it sticks to your thumb really nicely. I do have a little warning note about these guys though, is that while I absolutely love using the one on the left Joy-Con, depending on the kind of game I'm playing, I might remove the right one, mainly because with how it's positioned and how you normally grip a Joy-Con, sometimes you rub it a little bit whenever you're hitting the B button, which, depending on what you're playing, can be a problem. So if you're using something that needs twin sticks all the time, definitely use both of these. If you're playing something where you're really only using the left stick and you don't want to accidentally ever hit the right one, take this one off, just on occasion.